You're listening to the Infrastructure Insider, a technology podcast from RedEye.
Thanks to the pandemic, we've been accelerated into a new way of working. Everything from work from home, hybrid working models, choose your own hours, to more wellness-focused ways of working, including team meditation, walking meetings, recharge days, frequent breaks, and a more general awareness and appreciation for mental health. What will the future of work look like, or is it a case of only time will tell? I'm Louise Sharman, the GM of Culture and People here at RedEye, and I'm joined by Nathan Fregona, our Culture and People partner.
Thanks, Lou. Thanks for having me. That's a good segue into the topic that we're going to be talking about today, and I guess it's really the world of work in 2022. I mean, you've heard it more commonly referred to as the new way of working, but I think we're so far into what that world looks like now that it is just the world of work in 2022. And I think, you know, given the experience that you've had 7 years now at RedEye, Lou, it's really important to discuss where we've been as an organization prior and then what life now looks like. So I think maybe a quick summarization of what the world of work for RedEye looked like prior to the pandemic, and then we can, I guess, get stuck into what it looks like for us now and, you know, maybe even touch on our customers. How's that sound?
Sounds good, Nate. Let's jump straight into it. So I guess, RedEye pre-pandemic, standard software startup. We had about 60 staff across mostly Brisbane and a couple in North America. A team which predominantly worked in the office. We really loved to collaborate together and spend time as a team, celebrate our culture, celebrate the wins together. Post-COVID, I guess things look a little bit different. The team's working mostly remote. We have new ways of working. We have work from anywhere program. The teams are dispersed across Australia, across New Zealand, North America, and even, the Philippines and India. So definitely looking a lot more dispersed these days and bringing its own set of challenges with things that are happening in the market. You know, we're seeing wage pressure and inflation, and there's a pretty big war for talent as well. So, it's, I guess, timely that we're recording this podcast because we've really moved into our new normal.
Definitely, couldn't agree more. There's a few topics there that you've touched on that we'll delve into in a little bit more detail in a second, but I think one of the major initiatives that has come out of it for us as an organization is that work from anywhere policy, and it's something that we're still rolling out. So it is very much new to us as an organization, and we're quite excited about that initiative. I know organizations like Airbnb that are inherently a remote workforce have implemented something similar. So I think to start with, and I think that, encapsulates what the new world of work looks like now and the fact that you can work from anywhere. If you wanted to maybe go into a little bit more detail about what our new work from anywhere initiative or policy sort of looks like here at Red, I think the listeners will be keen to hear that.
Yeah, awesome. I think like a lot of companies, we had team members who worked from home or worked remotely pre-pandemic, but there was always struggles. They were getting left out of meetings, communication was lost in transit if you weren't in the office and you really had to be here. But when we all went online, it really forced companies to look at the softwares and tools that they have to keep their team connected. So to us, that looked like investing in collaboration tools, things like Zoom and Microsoft Teams. All of our, rituals and team meetings moved to online. So regardless if you're in the office or if you're online, you could participate and get the information straight away in those meetings. So I guess that was the first point for us. Moving everything online meant that regardless of where you were, you could get that information. And then secondly, I think as we start to move into more hybrid working, people have different preferences, whether they're in the office or people have really reconsidered their lifestyles. Do they want to live at the coast? Do they want to live at the coast half the time? Do they want to live in the CBD? Do they want to move overseas? We have people who've missed out on 2 years with their families, right? So we're really seeing that through RedEye's Work From Anywhere program, we can do that work from, the beach, or as long as you've got a Wi-Fi connection. You can do that work from the office, you can do it from home, or you can do it from a different state. So And, I think we're seeing a lot of companies move towards that, right? And even as, we get used to our new normal, a lot of companies are still embracing flexibility, mental health, well-being days, and really getting that balance between work and family, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should have done this podcast from the beach to really nail home our work from anywhere initiative. But yeah, just to touch on that and take that a little bit further. So obviously, we've done a fair bit of recruitment, as a lot of technology organizations, around Australia and the world have done, especially us as a scale up. At the moment, going through that scaling journey. And I think it's just been a factor of, like you said, the increase in collaboration tools, our, reliance on different mediums and channels for communication with staff that are remote, that has really made it, I guess, a seamless transition. I mean, it's a little bit different for me coming into the organization about a year ago when we're right in the thick of, remote working. But even from when I started to where we are now, and the fact that we have embraced having staff, like you said, in New Zealand, we've just recently brought somebody on who's going to be working in I can't even remember the name of the city down in New Zealand now, but these sort of opportunities wouldn't have existed pre 2022 and not 2022, 2020 now, going back a few years. So yeah, and it's really good to see, and having conversations with candidates and job seekers out in the market now. I think the whole uncertainty around what that environment looks like has really changed now. It's more of an expectation, right, in the new ways of working, and I think changing that mindset to being in that environment that isn't, in the office all the time, although, some people still prefer that. And we definitely have people that are here 24/7, 5 days a week. Being able to offer those different environments is something that we're quite proud to be able to do as an organization. And I think, as we continue to go, those conversations around where can I work are only going to be increasing. And luckily for us, we're able to say, essentially you can work wherever you want, as long as there is that internet connection. So if you did want to work at the beach, make sure that you slip, slop, slap for sure.
Really got a theme going on here.
Yeah, we do. I think our staff are definitely going to hear that and take advantage of that. So we're going to see a lot of uptick in people moving to the sunny coast. Yeah. But yeah, so that's our work from anywhere policy. I know we do support co-funding and anything to help you set up your home office as well, being obviously, your main office essentially for a lot of our staff now. So having those sort of initiatives in play is a no-brainer really, as we continue to mold ourselves as a growing organization. Touching on that, right, touching on the remote nature of our staff, obviously it changes your team dynamics, the culture in your organization, just as an inherent, restructure in terms of not being able to see everybody face to face all the time. How has that, I guess, from your perspective of what you've seen from the teams, speaking to other executive level members, anybody else in the organization, how have you seen that sort of mold itself naturally, and how are we as an organization putting in practices or processes or, anything in between to help maintain but build on the culture that we have established, going on 10 years now as an organization? So I'll pass over to yourself for that, Lou.
Yeah. So I think when we talk about culture, and there was a fear, I guess, when you moved online, how we're going to lose, those connections we have with our team members, the water cooler conversations and whatnot. So I guess our intent was, how can we maintain as much of that as possible? So, we have our monthly employee of the month. So, let's take that, put it online, make it remote. Let's keep that happening. So keep as much as we can and introduce new measures where we need to. So, we do a monthly newsletter now, keeping everyone in the loop, who's starting, new customers, wins, what's our social committee doing. So I guess holding on to what we've already established and, adjusting that a little bit to make it more suitable for global team members or make it more suitable to do online where we can, and implementing new initiatives as well. I feel like, and I touched on, recharge days earlier. So that's probably one of the biggest initiatives that we've seen be successful in the new ways of working. So every 6 months, each team member gets one RedEye recharge day. So that's a doona day, a lifesaver day, a day off to take care of you, look after your well-being and your mental health. So that's something that's been really well received with our team, and we've extended that. So, once people clock over 3 years with the company, they get an extra RedEye recharge day per year. So for us being a small company, I guess being able to offer people that time back with their families to do their passion projects, to do their side hustles, has been a really successful talent attraction and retention initiative. I guess you touched on, Nathan, being able to hire different people from, different parts of the world and get access to their skill sets is somewhat of a double-edged sword, because our team members are experiencing that same thing. I think trying to retain people in this market is just as challenging as trying to attract them and grow the team. So looking at those initiatives, getting the team's feedback, we run a number of different surveys and, finding out from the team, what are they seeing in the market? How do we compare? What can we do? What can we afford to do? What can we do differently? How can we get creative? So I guess that's where our work from anywhere policy was born, where you can work from anywhere, and you can co-fund devices as well. So I guess, that's probably one of the better examples.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think going back to the fact that we do have a built-up presence over in North America as well, I think there's a lot of work that our team behind the scenes have put into in terms of getting our social activities aligned, so that we're not working in a silo, and that we are I guess for lack of a better word, one RedEye organization across the globe. So we have had events that have had to run virtually to cater for our North American team as well, which can be tricky with time zones, as I've figured out, especially
your virtual podcast host.
Yeah, as I know, with interviewing North American candidates as well, I've experienced some early mornings, but I think there is a real push to having that or cross country or cross world collaboration now. And as we continue to grow and we do bring on people that have had different lived experiences, they bring different skills, they've worked in different parts of the world, having those that groundwork in place to run a whole of RedEye events and cater to each different sector of the world and time zone, I think is really good for us to implement as an initiative. All of this being said, and talking about the war on talent and our need to continue to treat our employees as professionals and give them all the tools they can to develop in their career, that all ties back into learning and development here at RedEye and the need for for training and to support those sort of initiatives as an organization. And I know over the past year since I've been here, especially, seeing from an inside perspective, we have put a lot of preference and emphasis on learning and development as an organization. We've invested in the growth of our learning and development team here internally. I'm bringing on a learning designer as well, and implementing our LMS system to be able to capture all of that knowledge. So I know that learning and development has been something really key to us as an organization, particularly as we scale. Is there anything that you want to add or elaborate on in terms of where we're going and where we have been going over the past year or longer in terms of that knowledge capture, creating team ready content to be able to deliver to our staff no matter where they are in the world, what stage of their career they've joined RedEye at, to help them be as successful as possible as quickly as they can.
Yeah, and I think that was probably something pre-pandemic, pre-COVID, where learning development was a function, but we've just, I guess, really seen as we've been remote, we're dispersed, that the criticality that it has to our business. So being able to capture and retain knowledge about our products, knowledge about our customers, our go-to-market has really become quite essential in our market at the moment. So like I spoke about, the war on talent, how do we retain our team? How do we retain that knowledge? And how do we capture it and share it with our team and our customers? So we've really backed, I guess, learning and development in terms of a key strategy. How do we get our team members up to speed faster through onboarding? What content can we share with them and capture to help them understand our business faster? So that in that time, if team members are here for 3 years, that's a really productive 3 years, a great experience for them, and we're not having to reinvent the wheel in terms of manually onboarding people and manually training people. It's all done online through a learning management system. So we've invested in the tools and processes to capture that knowledge, whether it be information about our business for new starters. We're working through capturing that for our products, for our employees, for our customers, so that we can, I guess, essentially give everyone a great experience and onboard experience into RedEye, whether they're new employees or customers. So
I think I can hear Wayne's voice in the back of my head saying, do it, document it, improve it. And I think that is definitely captured across the organisation, especially in the initiatives that we continue to keep rolling out. Another thing that I think is something really worth touching on, and it's been quite a big success for us, especially this year and beyond as well, is non-linear career progression or development. We're not the largest organisation in the world, so we can't support every job and career path in the world, but what we can do, I think we do really well in terms of allowing people to mold their career in a way that's natural to them, right? We know that career development is not always a linear process, and to this day, somebody could be in one industry for 30 years and decide that that's not where they want to take the rest of their career, and we're certainly experiencing that now, and we have a number of awesome staff members and employees that are looking for what other opportunities could exist within RedEye. And I think a good thing that we've done as an organisation is trying to capture that sort of atmosphere or feeling or ability to have a think about your career in a different way. And it's not just a factor of COVID changing our ways of working and how we view work now, but it's also a factor of us gaining different skills, working in a different environment and being like, well, all right, well, what transferable skills do I have now? Could this be a career path for me? Or maybe even, intersecting in a different role that you didn't think would be possible a few years ago. And I know I'm potentially waffling on a little bit, and hopefully I haven't lost any of the listeners who are going through this podcast. But what I wanted to sort of get at is to say that, we have had a number of roles internally that we have been able to recruit internally for. And whether it is a straight linear progression into a different role or not, tends to be more of the latter, because we do have, highly skilled team members here that want to experience what the other side of the business could look like, for example. So I know we've had customer-focused team members move into more of the product team. And I think that's been something that, given the size of us as an organization and the fact that we can move pretty quickly and see those sort of opportunities within our staff, but also allow them to move into those spaces and give them the tools they need to continue to succeed in their careers, is something that I think we should give them, give ourselves a pat on the back for. And I do think it's it's a prevalent topic to discuss as those sort of environments continue to change and people can, look for those opportunities outside of the norm or what they thought they, could be doing, this time 4 years ago, for example. So yeah, is there anything else that you've seen from that perspective in terms of that non-linear progression or internal mobility, as we like to call it here?
Yeah, and love a shameless plug. Go RedEye. But I guess thinking about the new skills that a lot of people have had to pick up as we go remotely. You're having to manage your own time. You're having to do presentations virtually. Think about the skills that you're learning when you're trying to engage a room versus being in person versus being online. So I think a lot of people are having to adapt and develop new skills, and with that comes opportunity for them to use their current and new skills in their current role, opportunities to move into new roles and bring that knowledge, and how can we apply it in a different area of the business. So being a small company, I think we have the luxury that we can provide those opportunities. And then, for us, it's an opportunity to retain our team. It's an opportunity for us to deliver more value to our customers and to our shareholders, really, because we're getting people who understand our products, our customers and our business in the right roles facing our customers and, I guess providing that feedback to our team. So.
And I do love a bit of a shameless RedEye plug. I've worn my RedEye t-shirt to be a bit of a walking billboard here. But if we take it more external and we have a bit more of a think about what we have seen in the market or the world of human resources and culture and people, from your perspective, what's been, I guess, an outside wider industry sort of view on the landscape now as opposed to, any number of years ago? Have you noticed any significant changes that we may not have touched on yet?
I think you touched on, remote working and work from home is here to stay. That's the new normal. It's not really considered a benefit anymore. It's expected,
Absolutely.
right? So if you want to attract and retain the best people, you need to be offering that. We're seeing companies extend to things like 4-day work weeks, and how can we give people even more time back, right? How can we do 38 hours in 4 so we can give our team members back? So we're really seeing companies back those kinds of things. And I guess, what are the wellbeing benefits they can offer? So extending their parental leave, offering part-time, job share. Like I kind of personally work part-time. So for me, that's a huge perk, right? Being able to balance my time between work and my family. So I think we're just seeing a lot of companies embrace flexibility. And at the same time, I think companies are expecting, more from their team members, right? We're seeing inflation go up, and that's affecting people personally, but it's also affecting businesses. So with that comes, I guess, that added pressure of getting things done, getting shit done, which is one of our values at RedEye. So just making sure that people are taking that time out. We're rewarding people, we're giving back to them, and people are feeling valued, and I'm excited by what we're doing, and they can see the bigger picture. So
couldn't agree more. And I think that's your competitive advantage. Obviously, it's always been the case, right? If you are able to do meaningful work, your chances are you'll be happy in your job and you enjoy your team. But I think that's definitely the case now, and we continue to go back to the labour pinch that we had felt over the past few years, and it's still persistent in our industry for a myriad of roles. But I think it does hark down to the people that you've got around you, right? And really having the team environment that you can choose, right? Because you can be selective now, and you can have a multitude of different opportunities. But really, it comes down to who do I want to support me, or who do I want to be around me more as I begin to integrate my personal life with my work life now, because you're working from home a lot more, and we've talked about it internally as well in terms of work life integration, as we like to call it. It is certainly something that is completely prominent now, and I think personally it's a really good thing to do, because we can sort of structure our personal life around work a lot more now, particularly if you've got a young family. Obviously, we know the benefits of being able to work from home too. So from a candidate perspective, and after recruiting candidates at RedEye for the past year, I think being able to build those real human relationships, structured around that supportive team environment, and having people that you can trust, and do good things with, or get shit done with, as we popularly term here, is really key, right? Those human relationships. If you're feeling a recruitment pinch, that's where it's going to start from. And if you're feeling a pinch within your team, have a look at who's around them and what sort of support they have, and make sure that you try your best, or do whatever you can to nurture that as much as possible. I think it's probably one of the best ways to move forward in the ways of working in 2022 rather than the new world of work, because I think we've been in that for long enough for it to no longer be a term that we use. But is there anything at all that you wanted to add as we get into the latter stages of this podcast?
I'd just say in conclusion, hybrid working's here to stay, and time will tell in terms of how we work in terms of hours and extending that flexibility. I think it'll be interesting to see what we learn of some of these big companies making big moves.
No, absolutely. I think there's a lot of organizations out there certainly leading the way, multinational large organizations, and seeing how they begin to remold or reform or redefine what work looks like for them will certainly be very interesting. But hopefully RedEye can definitely be at the fore of that as well, and continue to run initiatives like the retro that we did this morning to really capture, what our staff are loving, what they might be frustrated with, and how we can, bridge that sort of gap as an organization too. So yeah, but that's everything from my ends as well. Hopefully, you got a lot of value out of this. Hopefully we've been able to enlighten about the goings on within RedEye. We haven't touched on our customers at all, but I think we've got a few more podcasts lined up that will certainly go into that, and talk about how, the world of work has changed for the critical infrastructure market more broadly, which is certainly very exciting for us as a technology organization in terms of the things that they may be embracing moving forward. But I will try not to steal any other podcasts to come. I won't steal their thunder at all. Just trying to be a little bit cheeky there. But yeah, otherwise I think that's pretty much it for us. And if there's anything else that we can add, Matthew, feel free to reach out to me. But thanks for listening to the Infrastructure Insider. Hopefully you did gain some value out of that. And if you want to listen to any more episodes, you can definitely reach us at redeye.co/podcast. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Infrastructure Insider. For more episodes, visit redeye.co/podcast.